on this episode of Shooting the Shit with Sands.
Part one of a two-part pod. We got me talking about my shroom trip. We have the James Harden rumors. We have how the hell does Dame have zero leverage and the Blazers have all of it? I still don't understand why people keep saying this. Every time a superstar says, hey, I want to go here, they think the organization has leverage because they have the player, and they do not. All right? And then we're going to go over a few more signings. And at the end of this pod, you will hear me say, it's fantasy season, or whatever I did. I didn't have a real outro. That will be on part 2 of this podcast, where I talk about how the RB position is so weird. The running back position is so weird in fantasy this year, and I tell you why. Y'all enjoy. Peace. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I am who I am. My name is my name. And welcome into another episode of Shooting the Shit with Sands. So if you're watching on YouTube, you see I have a different setting. I'm in a corner of a room. I'm in my bedroom right now. Moved the desk and everything. Nia's family's in town. I know you see the clunky like plug-in in the back. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm pumping out a pod when I can. I'm not going to rush through it. And I've realized I need to slow down a little bit. Like, see how I'm ranting and I just and start gibbering? My friend Michael told me, hey, slow down, talk to the pod like you're talking to us. And that doesn't work for me because I still need to bring energy. You know what I mean? So I'm not just going to be like, yeah, and this and that and slow down. I'm still going to be me, but I'm just going to slow down a bit when I get ideas flowing. You know what I mean? Another thing you will hear, obviously the first part, you will hear that I will edit out most curse words in the first 5 minutes of my podcast. And then after that, it's not going to be edited because the YouTube algorithm is very against people who are using F-bombs and S-bombs in their first couple minutes. Yeah, and you know that's my thing. But I wanted to start out this pod with something a little different, right? I'm going to talk about my shroom trip. And I understand if you want to fast forward through this, but I really do think you should listen because I actually recommend people doing it. And you can judge me and say, why the hell are you doing shrooms at 28? As I talk about the YouTube algorithm, I'm talking about taking psychedelics. Well, oh well, right? But yeah, I just want to talk about this. I'm not going to go through how we got it. How was Nia's trip? That's her business. I'll talk about what I felt, right? You take the shroom, right? You pop it. I took a penis envy shroom, okay? Whoa, penis envy. It's one of the strongest, most potent strands or whatever they're called of a psychedelic, of a shroom, right? So I take it, and it takes a while to kick in, you know. And if you do it, I would recommend, once again, I'm giving you step by step how to do shrooms. I would recommend eating it with something real, like real food. Don't eat it with like a peanut butter sandwich, right? Because the texture of mushroom is very fleshy. So I mixed it in with my Chinese food, not even mixed it in. I broke the shroom up, put my fork in it and put it through some orange chicken and shoved it into my mouth, and I couldn't even taste it, couldn't even feel it, nothing. And the last time I did shrooms when I was 18, 19, 20, something like that, they tasted like shit. They tasted like rotting flesh. I am not kidding you. They were dry as a rock. You could barely chew them. I was choking on them while I was trying to do it. It was wild. But I took the shrooms, took about 45 minutes to kick in, and I'll tell you what, the first 30 minutes of my trip was absolutely horrible. And it wasn't because I was tripping out and freaking out. Your stomach on shrooms, for only like the first 30 to 40 minutes, you feel like you're going to puke forever. Like the whole time. You feel like you're about to go in the bathroom, right? And so that wasn't great. But after that, guys, and let me preface this with saying I do think I am enlightened on certain aspects of things in myself, not on life and the world and things like that. You get what I'm saying? I do feel like I was enlightened on some decisions and mindsets that I have that I needed to change or that I needed to stick with because I really felt that passionately while I was on shrooms. And I really thought it was a thing where, hey, yo, I'm going to do this. And it's like getting high. You're just going to forget about it. Like the things you say or the things you think. And they've stuck with me for 2 weeks, like hard. I think about it every day when I wake up. Not like, yo, that shroom trip, but the things that I gained from that trip, I actually do still keep with me every day, and it's kind of wild. But like I said, I don't think people when they took shrooms when we were younger acted like they were above you. Like you weren't on their level intellectually and oh, they knew the world better than you. That's not the case with me. I'm a dope. I'm an idiot. All right. I went in there and I took my shroom and this is what happened, guys. I'll tell you this. So I'm gonna give you some visuals that I had, right? So in the living room, sometimes Nia doesn't like to be apart from me for a long time. So I usually have my podcast gaming room in the other bedroom that we have. We two people, two bedrooms. We don't sleep separately, yada yada. Have my own room to do content and play video games. Sometimes mostly outside of basketball season, right? I'm not watching anything on TV. I'm not a TV watcher. I'll watch TV at night. I'll watch some movies late at night if I'm bored or my friends get off. Like I'm not really a TV watcher. I never have been other than sports. So in the off season, I'm keeping up with rumors and playing video games, doing my shit. Like I don't have any shame of playing video games. I do take a lot of stretches off, but that's when I need to get shit done. I do love to play video games. They're fucking fun. I get to talk to my friends. But she doesn't like to be away from me for a long time. So I'll put we have TV trays in there. I'll put a fucking TV on the TV tray, get my little side table, put my Xbox on it, and play in the living room beside her, and then push it to the side when it's time to go to bed. All that, right? I had this big ass window in front of me, like a little bit further. It's not like directly in my face, but a little bit further on the other wall. And it's huge. It's probably an 8x8 window, 8x6 window. It's humongous. And I was sitting there during the shrooms and it started to kick in. And I was looking out that window, man. It felt like I was going through a portal of nature. Like legitimately a portal of like sun and nature. You look out the window, the trees. I know everybody says this, but it is true. Everything looks like it's moving and breathing. And I would say the best way to say it is you embody everything around you. Right? You kind of go, man, this environment is awesome. And if you got some music on, the music is like beating in your whole soul. Like you really do feel like the most vulnerable you've ever been. All your walls are taken down. All the walls are gone. You're just, I don't know how to explain this. It's like your flesh and muscle are gone and you're just bone. You're the most vulnerable you've been to the deepest part of your body. And you let it all out. Right? But we sit there and me and Nia are just like, kind of like, you feeling it? Ha ha ha. And we're like giggling or whatever. And I see this portal through the window. And then Nia was like, let's get some nature, because I didn't want to do an outside trip, right? I didn't want to drive on psychedelics. I think that's irresponsible. I get if you're one of those people who do it all the time and you microdose and then you get to the park and wait till you come down. I didn't want to be outside in the Louisiana heat. 106 degrees, or feels like with the humidity, it's 101 with 90% humidity, and it feels like it's 107 outside. I don't want to be out there being dehydrated on shrooms. All right. So I was like, I want to kind of have an in-house, sit around, think about shit trip. That's what I really wanted. But we did end up, I've always been itching my face on my fucking, I don't know what I think it's because I've been shaving more now. I'm growing like hairs on my chin. Anyways, I was like, yeah, let's get some nature going. We can go outside or whatever, walk around, take the dog out, play with her, all that shit. I was down for. I just didn't want to drive anywhere. So Nia's like, okay, well, to start with the nature stuff, how about we just put on this thing on Disney Channel? And I'm like, okay, dog. Disney Channel, by the way, Disney Plus has the best shit ever. I mean, I said Disney Channel like we were watching fucking Hannah Montana. Could you imagine that? I'd be tripping like a motherfucker. Yo, Hannah Montana's so deep. She's two people at once, but she really only wants to be a regular girl. Like that's what I would have been on. Wild. Anyways, yeah. So we put on this thing on Disney Plus, and it's like nature, right? It's just like a drone flying over Antarctica, glaciers, snow, forest, islands, whatever, and the music is vibey on that shit. Like it actually sets the tone for the video, right? It like really goes long. And now if you watch this sober, just like right now, you turn that shit on, you'd be like, what the fuck is he talking about? But in that moment, bro, that TV with that fucking shit on the TV was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen until, this is the wild thing, I looked at Nia. And I am not joking you. She had like this aura around her, like this wavy aura. And I'm not joking. Me and Nia haven't sat down and talked about it, but it felt like my heart, and this is wild to say, and it sounds crazy. It felt like my heart was magnetized to her. It felt like my soul was bonded with hers. And I really did have a scared thing, because I have this thing of, do I really love people as much as I think I do? Because I feel like people's feelings are so temporary. You know what I mean? Even in life, like sometimes I hated my parents, like legitimately hated them. Hated. Like I felt like I don't even love my parents no more because we went through some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what if I don't love her as much as I think I do, or she doesn't love me as much as I think she loves me? You know what I mean? Maybe I think I'm in love when I know I'm in love. I know I'm in love with this woman, but maybe I had this realization that I'm not, and that's scary. But nah, I looked at her, and she was the most beautiful thing, I am not kidding you, I've ever seen in my life. And I felt so attached to her. And then about 20 minutes of like going through that, it starts escalating. And I thought I was already at the peak. It starts escalating and escalating. And I sent my friends voice messages because I was tripping hard. And I told them I loved them because I love my friends like they're my family. And I told them I couldn't live without them and all that. And that's fine. I don't care. But I was laughing hysterically while in the moment, like, I'm not joking, like Joker type shit, laughing while feeling all of the love that I've ever felt for Nia every day, all at once in this moment of 2 hours, All I did was feel this beautiful, euphoric feeling of love and joy and hysterically laughing. And even me in my mind, I was trying to sit here and make it some deep shit like, oh, you always laugh shit off. You never take shit serious. But the way that I took it, and I was trying to convince myself that's what it was. But I couldn't, even on the shrooms. You know what it is, man? That's me. That's just me. Nothing is too serious. There is serious shit. And that will be handled accordingly. But life is too precious. That's what I really got from it too. Life is so precious that we take it so serious sometimes. We hang our heads so low when we get down and shit happens, and we have a problem recovering and getting back up, and you just let it linger with you even though you think you're not letting it linger. Like maybe that bad thing that happened to you motivates you, but also if that is just the brink and the existence of your motivation, that will dwindle eventually. If that bad thing that happened to you made you what you are, that is going to dwindle. I don't care how motivated you are, right? So why not enjoy it? Like I literally was like, no, man, I'm laughing because like I love to laugh. I know that sounds crazy, but like I'm a stand-up comedian nut. I think I am hilarious. I just love making people laugh. I love to laugh. And that's why I was doing it. Because life is fine. I might have my financial issues. I might have shit going on. But at the same time, bro, I believe in myself and I know I'm going to be okay. And I believe that from the get-go, but at the same time, there were so many factors that pull me away from believing in myself. But on these shrooms, I just felt like, man, I do believe in myself, man. I can get my shit together. And I've been working on getting my shit together. Getting your shit together doesn't happen in a blink of an eye, right? And my friends know me. They know I'm like, I think they see the progress of me as a human. And maybe they wanted that timeline to happen earlier, but it didn't. And that's fine. They still love me. I love them. But I just realized, like, man, life is enjoyable, and I'm laughing because I love life. I love it. And it's fun to laugh and have a good time. And that's really the serious part of the trip, really. That's what I got out of it. I just realized, like, everything's going to be okay, man. Like, we're going to be all right. And if I'm not going to be okay, then I'm going to have a good time struggling. I'll tell you that. And I embrace the struggle. And another thing, the last serious note that I have is the one thing that really stuck with me through the trip. I started thinking about this podcasting shit, and I really wanted to know if I wanted to quit. I did. And it's not because of how small my channel is or my following or anything like that. It was, I knew I wasn't giving 100%. So why do it? And then that made me go, that's already an evolution in myself. Already you're evolving. Already you've changed that. You've changed that over time. This isn't me changing in the moment in the shrooms. This is me actually giving myself credit for once in my fucking life. Going, bro, you're growing. You're sitting here saying, I'm not doing it well enough, or I'm not trying hard enough at it. Then why do it? I've never been 100% or not guy. I will give 50% to everything. Dude, you give me 12 things fucking 2 years ago. I'm giving 8% to everything. Everything, right? I feel like I got my competitiveness back. I feel like I got that edge to me back. That skinny white boy with braces who can't do shit on the basketball court but shoot threes, but talking shit to the best player on the other team, swagger back. And you're like, that's an annoying swagger. I'll be Dylan Brooks. I don't care. That makes me me, right? And I don't want to be Dylan Brooks, but you get what I'm saying though, right? I got my edge back. This is real life. This ain't no NBA shit. And that's JV basketball and at the rec. Like, it's not really that serious. But the funny part of the trip, so we can wrap this up, was like the hysterical laughing thing. And I'll tell you all a little bit about Nia's trip. Nia's a very emotional person, and she was crying. But it was a diverse cry where it's like, it was happy, then sad, then I'm so glad I realized that cry. Like, she was crying hysterically too for 2 or 3 hours. But while we're sitting here, I'm sitting here telling Nia for 30 minutes how I love her and how it's me and her against the world forever until I die. And how we have the coolest fucking, I'm getting emotional talking about it, honestly. And how we have the coolest fucking dog in the world, you know? But at the same time, I'm hysterically laughing while she is hysterically crying, and that lightened me up. Woo! Almost didn't get through that part, because I truly believe that shit. But I was hysterically laughing and trying to talk. And if anybody knows me in real life, I'm loud as fuck. I am loud, drunk, not drunk, high. I am a loud volume, decibel level person, high volume. Okay. And I'm sitting there laughing. And when you laugh so hard, you can't talk like normal. You have to talk with the laugh. I was doing that, telling her how much I loved her on the couch while she was crying. And it was just, man, I tell you what, it was the best time ever. And then the other shit, we did eventually go outside. We walked Rue out there and we started crying because Rue hates the rain. She is scared of the rain, not thunder and lightning, literally water hitting her. She will, on our apartment, we have steps. She will piss on the steps if it is raining. She will piss on the steps and not go down. So she went down there and we played with her in the rain barefoot like some hippies. There was this old guy smoking a stick outside his shit. And I'm sitting there, and that's when I knew this shit was awesome, because I was like, he thinks we're hippies. He thinks we look crazy. I want to go inside. We look nuts. And then 2 seconds later, I go, man, fuck what he thinks. I don't give a fuck. I'm having the time of my life. And that is stuck with me. Like, I do care what people think of me, but not in that way. Not the strangers and shit. Like, I always want to be the best dressed, the flyest motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I want to dress nice. I want to look clean. Have the nicest teeth. You know, buying shit that I shouldn't buy because I want to look cool. Like, that ain't really cool, bro. That makes you lame. Like, you're literally spending money to impress women or other men so you can look like you cleaner than the man, the other men. That's wild. And that's what my mentality was. Right? Oh, I got $180 in my account when I was working at Buc-ee's. Fuck it, bro. I'll take a bitch out on a date. Why? Why would you do that, bro? Buy some fucking crypto or something. That's when I was like 20. But like, you know what I mean? But it was just so fun. I'll tell you that. It was really fun. And we started crying because Rue hates going in the rain. Went out there and cried. We got her back up. And Nia started crying. And then the thing was, I was showing emotion through laughing. Like, I was crying. And that's what was so cool. I realized, like, I am an emotional person when it's necessary. And I'm a very warm, I think I'm a sweet guy. I think I'm a really nice person. I do. I mean, I talk my shit on this podcast, but I really am a nice person. You know what I mean? And I was just laughing because I was like, man, I love feeling happy tears, and that's all they were was happy tears. So why not laugh with the happy tears? You know what I mean? But anytime I would try to function, I'm not joking. If I wanted to think, I was laughing. If I wanted to text, every time I pick up my phone, I'd start laughing again. I would just go, and start laughing again. So that was the shroom trip. I can't believe I almost cried on the pod, and that was not planned. So let's get to some NBA shit before I start tearing up thinking about it again. Let's rock. Okay, we got the nice shroom trip story out the way. All right. That was fun too. That was just fun to tell because I think people have judgment on that shit. And man, listen, you gonna have your things that you do that people don't approve of, think you're crazy for and shit like that. Just do it, bro. Who gives a shit. Free agency. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about like Dylan Brooks to the Houston Rockets, even though shout out to him because I said that too. We can sit here and think. This is my whole thing, man. I've said this 500 times on a podcast that doesn't have 100 episodes. I have told y'all don't know what GMs think of players, bro. That man got 80 mil on your head. You think he gives a fuck about your jokes? He's got more fucking dollars than followers, bro. All right? He just does. And you got to live with that. Okay? So we're going to talk about essential moves. I'm not talking about random ass acquisitions like Fred VanVleet to Houston. Let's talk about that real quick. I know it's not the biggest story, but I'd rather get the smaller shit out the way so I can go crazy on the bigger stuff. Fred VanVleet to Houston. Now they're acting like Fred VanVleet is some culture shifter. Some winner of this all-time winner. I don't understand. He was like a spark guy on a Toronto team. He played very well in that finals. Huey Brown gave him a finals MVP vote, one of the worst votes of all time. But I just think that it is what it is. They're the Rockets again. They got some better players. They have a great coach. Not a really good, a great coach. I think that their defense was their main issue last year, other than a couple young guys not wanting to pass the ball. KPJ and Jalen Green aren't the greatest teammates to play with, and I think maybe Fred VanVleet isn't the greatest teammate to play with either, considering being on that team. I think he's a great playmaker. I think he's a good point guard. I'm just saying, like, to me, Fred VanVleet just want to hoop. I don't think Fred VanVleet really cares about winning anymore. I truly don't. I think he wants his bag. I think he wants to go out and hoop. He knows he's going to be arguably the best player on the Houston roster. He wants to go out there and ball out. To me, that's my perception of it. He is not some generational culture shifter. They were horrible on defense last year. I think Ime Udoka is going to, bring that back together and kind of fix it a little bit. But because you saw what he did with the Celtics, he changed their whole mentality. But they have a whole different level of talent and versatility on defense. And I like a lot of their pieces in Houston. Sengun, I like Tari Eason. I like Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. Jabari Smith could be something really good, a 3-and-D wing. I like their little roster construction they got over there. I just don't know what they're going to do. I think they'd be lucky to be in a fight for the play-in. Like, I think they're going to be maybe a 40-win team tops. Like, that is a dream season for the Rockets. And if I end up wrong, that's fine. But that's just what I think of it. I don't think it's like a huge move. Some acquisitions I want to talk about for the Phoenix Suns. The one that's being talked about is Eric Gordon. I think the more essential piece is Yuta Watanabe. I hope I'm saying that right. He is a bomber from downtown, man. He is a real shooter. Like, real shooter, 40+% shooter. Right? When KD and Kyrie were healthy on the Nets, Watanabe was a weapon. A real weapon. And Eric Gordon is a good player. And I think he's going to be decent for them. I don't think they need anything from him other than to spot up and be able to shoot. That's the thing. Last year, you look in the playoffs, you go, damn, they got Josh Okogie and Chris Paul out there. No, they can't. They have two guys on the court that can't shoot the whole game. And Ayton isn't stretching the floor. He's down there crying because he's not getting the ball. But he also thinks he's great. He's a confusing case of sports psychology. I'd give that one to Landon Holyfield over there. Go Lando show. I do have questions about their 7 to 8 man rotation, but at the same time, at all times, you're going to have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD, and Ayton on the court at the same time. Like, two of them are going to be paired, maybe three of them paired at all times, and just keep swapping out and staggering. I think they're in a good spot. I think the Suns now are contenders. I know that anorexic piece of shit can't get past the second round without a super team. And here he is again. He's got two go get a bucket guys. Right? And he's not the alpha. It's not his franchise again. He loves that. He loves living in the guest bedroom and getting the credit. I love it. He's like, my legacy's going up from living in your basement? Fine, I'll do it. I won't do it by myself. I don't want to own a house. I don't want to own a house, Mom. I'll be a lawyer downstairs, bro. I'm an all-time great child. I will be a lawyer downstairs in the basement. Don't bother me. Son, we need you to get more responsibilities. I'm killing life right now. Come on. Give me a break. But yes, the shooting capabilities of their team have grown, and I think that actually does make a humongous difference. Those are the only ones I really wanted to talk about. Like, I don't want to talk about the other moves because they don't move the needle. Like, the Heat got Thomas Bryant. Like, I know I'm supposed to be like a Heat podcaster, and maybe I will do a breakdown of the full free agency for the Heat separately, but I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you on NBA champion Thomas Bryant, okay? The James Harden thing. Bill Simmons tweeted out he's the greatest ever at asking for trades. And I just thought it was funny because I will say I thought James Harden was out of there already. So I didn't think it was a surprise that he wanted to leave. I thought it was a surprise that he asked for a trade. Not only because he asked for a trade to opt in. Like, when you see the opt-in news, you're like, dope. And then they're like, no, he's going to opt in and ask for a trade. I would say I was surprised that he was helping a franchise out for once. Honestly. Because he did help them out with that. He could have easily opted out, left their ass, made it a hard contract to trade for if he signs for a big deal. If the 76ers wanted him for a sign and trade anyways. Like, he helped him out. Now, the suitors, it seems like it's almost a done deal that James Harden is going to the Clippers. Now, let's talk about that fit, because I don't think he goes to the Knicks. I just don't see him being there. He is not a Tom Thibodeau player. I do not think Tom Thibodeau even wants him there. The fit with the Clips is very interesting to me because I don't see how it works. So who are you convincing to go off the bench? Or are you running out there? Well, you have Bones Highland, I guess, that you're running, what? James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi, and PG at the same time? Ugh. That's gross. That is a gross lineup. But I think that they could benefit from having a playmaker like that. But I also don't know how it benefits with the fit with Russ out there because Russ is a playmaker, but he's also not a shooter. So what are you doing with Russ to make him effective? Maybe you look at what Daryl Morey did in Houston, where he's almost a center, where he controlled the paint. Maybe that's why they're trying to get rid of Zubac. I don't know what you do in that situation, though, if you have because the Clippers seem like a team who was built on defense and shooting. Right? They have 2-star players. They surround them with shooting, and they are built on their defense. That's why they keep a big guy down there that can rebound, defend the rim. I just don't see them turning away from that all of a sudden, mostly when that's been Ty Lue's go-to since he started being a coach. Tristan Thompson, even a Timothy Mozgov. Like, you may laugh at him, but Timothy Mozgov was a really good rim protector. So that's been his MO forever. So I don't see him shifting that with the way he makes his defense. So how are you going to use Russ? How does Harden really play in when you're trying to be a championship team? How does he fit into that mold of being a champion? I just don't see it. And you can say that he was mad over the Jalen Green interview on PG's podcast, but let's keep it a buck here, right? Can we not forget what James Harden did to that franchise? They go and get John Wall, who they think is a good acquisition. They try to build a decent team with a new coach around James Harden. And then he's like, we ain't winning shit. I'll give you 8 points. I'll shoot 9 times. Like, that's what he was doing. He literally gave up. Why the fuck would Houston want him back? Why? Because he's one of the best players in franchise history? Probably I don't know. It's a debate between him and Tracy McGrady still, to me. But Tracy McGrady wasn't there through his whole prime. Like, he was on the Raptors, the Magic, you know what I mean? But you get what I'm saying. Why would they want him back? It makes no sense. And I don't even know why the Clippers want him. I don't. I know they need a real true point guard, and I think that would help because you've seen the rotating door since Chris Paul left at that point guard position for the Clippers. Darren Collison was there with PG. I know that was with PG. They had Pat Bev. They had Russell Westbrook. Who was the other point guard they had? Reggie Jackson. Like, they just had a revolving door of point guards. And I never knew why. I was like, they just can't get that position right. And the ones that they were getting were so flawed on one or both sides of the floor. Like, Russell Westbrook has a lot of holes in his game, man. A lot. Even though you have to respect his greatness, no, he has a lot of holes, and it's hard to play with a guy like that who any given night can go 3 for 21 and he's shooting layups and mid-range jumpers. So bringing Harden in could bring another scoring element. I think Harden is looking to be a tertiary scorer. I think he would rather do that than be the second guy like with Joel. But I would also ask, are we going to forget what he did to the Nets? Because he can sit here and go, yo, I didn't really like the organization. And then KD and Kyrie didn't like the organization. But in totality, in reality, I believe that it was a scheme with Kyrie and Kevin. I think with James, he was like, KD went down with a knee injury after having an Achilles injury. Without him playing, this isn't a championship contender. I don't know when he's coming back. He wasn't feeling Kyrie. It's been reported in USA Today. I just think that he was like, yeah, without these guys out here, I really don't want to be out here. I don't want to be playing with these bums out here. I just did that in Houston. So when Kawhi sits down for 50-plus games and Paul George gets injured and sits down for 40 games, 30 games during the season, how is he going to feel out there? How is he going to produce? Will that affect his health? Because it's not like all these guys are young. Now, Kawhi's age is 32. You can tell he is a great offensive player. He is an unstoppable offensive force. I'm just saying he is not the best defender in the world like he used to be. He's still a good defender. But these guys aren't going to stay healthy. And how do you know James Harden's going to stay healthy? You're putting yourself in a very precarious situation because you're doing the thing that the Lakers do. These LA teams do the same shit. They got the same mentality. If they're healthy, well, what are you depending on to be healthy? You got 3 injury guys. Well, lately, James Harden, he was an Iron Man in Houston. And that's the breakdown of the body that I'm worried about with guys like Luka, Trey, the isocentric, heliocentric, as they say in the nerd world, that I should be a part of, that I am a part of. Your body breaks down playing 38 to 40 minutes a night, doing everything every night, every possession for your team that you're in there. That will break down your body. That's what I'm scared of for Luka. But those guys are not going to stay healthy. James Harden's had a nagging hamstring for years. It's always been his hamstring. So you just have to look at that and go like, damn, what is that really? Like, you may be scared of them in May, but look what happened this year. They weren't even healthy when they got to the playoffs. And when they got where they were, but when they got to the playoffs, got hurt again. Again and again and again. I don't know what the plan is for the Clips. You just going to sit Kawhi for 70 games? Because, like, what he did this year. Oh, he's ass. Oh, fuck, he dropped 40 on 70% shooting and stayed there every night for like 2 months. Is that what you want to do, though? I don't think it's a good plan. I think their roster construction is incredible. I think they have a really good roster. I think every time you look at the Clips, you go, damn, they're always in that discussion of contender, pretender. Are they really a threat? We've been saying that they are one of the biggest failures that we've seen when it comes to, I don't know why I think I've been trying to say two words, Keoms, when it comes down to superstars joining forces. What the fuck have they done? They've been to a conference final where they got dusted because Kawhi was hurt. They blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. But everybody is saying LeBron was scared of Kawhi. Y'all know Kawhi was on the court every game of that series, right? Don't get me on this LeBron comparison shit, because he was called the LeBron stopper. He was called so many things. Insane to say that. But yeah, I think the Clips fit is weird, and I just don't see him going anywhere else. All right? Now, let's get into the Dame Lillard stuff. For me personally, right, I'll talk about all the rumors, because I haven't potted since that rumor came out. When I dropped my podcast, the report was, we're still trying to build around Dame. That quickly shifted into, hey, Dame wants the fuck out of here in a couple days. And I knew he was asking out. It was obvious to me, whoever they drafted at 3, if it was Scoot Henderson, he was not going to stay. I thought that was obvious. I know people are calling JJ Redick a genius for saying that. I thought me and my friends knew that. Like, that was the essential part of it. If they didn't get Brandon Miller, I didn't think he was going to stay. And I didn't think he was going to stay in general, because he said he didn't want to be part of a young player movement. I think that's a hint. I think that's him going, hey, package this shit up and send it and go get somebody. And they didn't do it. Anthony Simons, the 3 pick, and Shaedon Sharpe. Do you know what you could get for that? Mostly when it's a player like Scoot, who is renowned as this, just people are drooling at the mouth over how great he's going to be, which I think he is too. He's built like a fucking linebacker and he plays point guard. He does everything well. But then it comes out he wants a trade. And we already know the suitors. Because where there is smoke in the NBA, specifically and usually now in this new era, dude, even like 7 years ago, 5-6 years ago, somebody would say, I want to trade, and then it would just die out. Or there's rumors that it would die out and nothing happens. But now, when there's smoke, there is a fire in the building already. The fire alarms, we need the firefighters there now. This is not a kitchen fire. This is not a little grease fire. No, like, we need to get the fucking women and kids out of here now. Miami and Brooklyn have been linked to a Dame trade for 2 or 3 years. Mostly, especially when they made the KD and Kyrie moves. And the Heat, any star that pops up, you can doubt them all you want. The Heat are going to be in the talks. They have the city. They have the aura of Heat culture in a winning franchise. They have the best coach in basketball. They got fucking Pat Riley. Like, they take care of their legends and great players. People don't look at that shit. D-Wade is courtside whenever he wants. He has a key under the mat, as they say. And D-Wade ain't got a key under the mat. That was for LeBron. D-Wade's got 6 keys to every single room in the building. Alonzo Mourning's part of the franchise. He told Udonis Haslem, go enjoy retirement and then come back. We're going to hire you as whatever you want to be. As a coach, whatever. Jawan Howard played for us, won a title. He wasn't even a Heat lifer type of guy. But he was so respected in that organization, he's on the bench. He was on the bench as a coach. Chris Quinn played point guard for the Heat, was not that great of a player. Guess what? He's our lead assistant. We take care of our people. There's an aura there. We're always going to be in the hunt for stars. But with the Brooklyn thing, I think if you add Dame Lillard, that team is nasty. Oh boy. Like, obviously when you, like I've told you on the last pod, you don't want to trade your best player while you're getting a great player because there's no point. You're taking a step back when you took 2 steps forward. You're just in the same spot. Like Jimmy Butler, he's obviously a 1 on a championship contender. There's a difference here. He's a 1 on a championship contender. He is not a 1 on a championship winning team. And that isn't just because he hasn't won a finals. Because the dude I'm talking about, Damian Lillard, what do you think of him? Do you think he's a number 1 on a championship team? Because he's been to 1 conference final and he got 4-1 or 4-0. I forgot. It was a KD year. So I still think he's a 1 on a championship team. I do. Almost lost 40 minutes of content right there. I was sitting looking at my computer and it said low battery. And I clicked it and it said 1%. Holy shit. All right, so we got all this. Thank God. Anyways, but you add a guy like Dame to a Mikal Bridges with, and I don't think Mikal Bridges is a number 1 on a contender yet. But what we saw in Brooklyn last year, did that not make your eyebrows stick to the top of your forehead? What Mikal Bridges did to the Heat, what Mikal Bridges did to the 76ers in individual games, like you're like, holy shit. And really he did it to everybody. I'm just talking about games that I watched and watched every minute of. It was like, God damn. This guy's amazing. Holy shit. Why didn't Phoenix give him the ball more? Why the fuck are they feeding it to Ayton? But you add that, you add Dame to that, and maybe you have to give up Cam Johnson, who I think is shitty. Because I think he is 6'9", I think he's 6'10", legit 6'10", 6'11". He is a knockdown 40% shooter. He showed he can score the ball in multiple ways on the Nets, and he's a lockdown defender, not on Luka, but he's a clamper. And he's just getting tossed around like he's a nobody. Because the only way you would, I mean, that would be a contract match with, it's not an exact match. I'm saying that's a big contract they can scoot out the way, and they'll probably get rid of Dinwiddie if that happens. But yeah, I thought, hey, yo, that'd be a crazy ass get for them. And I don't think anybody else is in the running. And this is, I just had a whole long, like 2-hour fucking, it wasn't a debate. It was just talk with Chris about this. And I wish we did it on a podcast. But the NBA Twitter people that are saying that Dame has 0 leverage and the franchise has all the leverage. No, they don't. Go look at the history of this shit. The most recent guy, James, let's go with James Harden and KD, whatever. Right? James Harden's done it twice already. James Harden went to Houston and said, hey, y'all, 1 out. What did they get in return? A boatload, right? On my Twitter, I said he got traded for a bag of chips because he turned into Kelly Olynyk and Victor Oladipo, who were then shipped out. They don't even have anything from that other than some picks that they got. They didn't get anything. Donovan Mitchell wanted out. The Utah Jazz got a boatload. But you know what he didn't say? I want to go there. Yes, he was very interested in the Knicks. He was interested in Miami, but he didn't hold you hostage. James held them. I want to go to Brooklyn, and that is all. I want to go there, and that is it. Where did he end up? Do you think Brooklyn gave them the best offer? I doubt it. And you know why? I bet it was the best offer eventually. But if he just would have said, hey, I want to trade. I don't care where I go. Just trade me to a contender. Any contender. Any of them. Any playoff team. I'll take it. You got 16 to 20 options. I bet you they get more. More. But when he went to Philly, did they give up a lot? Or did they give up a guy who doesn't like to play basketball? Seth Curry. Oh no. We lost a shooter and a fucking bum that can't make a free throw. Oh God. How horrible. KD. Yeah, man, I want out of Brooklyn now. I've been talking about Devin Booker for like 3 years being the yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Phoenix. Phoenix or Miami. Okay, cool. All right, well, he ended up in Phoenix, right? No hesitation. Pulled the trigger. Wham. Phoenix. Dwight Howard. I brought this up. Dwight Howard bitched for a full season how he wanted to be a Laker. I want to leave, he said, the first 2 weeks. Why am I narrating a story? Then the next couple weeks go by and he goes, I want to be a Laker. Where'd he end up? A Laker. Oh my. Who would have thought? The reason they have no leverage is because guess what? Why the fuck are you trading for a guy who don't want to be there? Why? And I know y'all are going, the contract, Hunter. The contract. That makes it even more complicated to not go to his sole destination. He is 33 years old and he's going to be due 60 M's when he's 35. I know he's on contract for 3-4 more years. And usually it's the guys that are like, I got 1 year left, get me out of here and I'll bounce. But because you don't want to get rid of him for nothing, which also holds the franchise hostage even worse, because why am I going to give you a lot of picks and shit when I can just wait for him to sit out? And you would go, well, what if another team, they're going to take a deal, they have to take some deal. You're right. But a lot of teams ain't calling if they don't want to, if they know the superstar said, I want to go to that team. They're not calling. And if they call, they're going to go, I'll give you this, this, and this. And it's not going to be that exciting. It's really not. So you can say the Heat deal is dog shit, right? Tyler Hero's overpaid. He didn't play in the fucking finals run. He's ass. They don't have enough picks. How much less is that than the next guy, really? Honestly. Because you do have to tailor to that star. Because they never get on the market. We don't have these conversations. This is a new era of basketball. The only people that have been asking for fucking trades in the new era of basketball that are superstars are Bozo number 1 KD, Bozo number 2 and James Harden, and Bozo number 3 and Kyrie. They are the 3 superstars who played together, didn't do shit together. They played 16 games together, and they were like, oh, it fucked up, trade us. Well, I guess it ain't working out in Brooklyn. Trade us, y'all's fault. Organizational failure. They sold out for 3 top 10 players in the league. Organizational failure. Those are the 3 people we're talking about. 3 bozos. Who don't even take, to me, they don't even take basketball. They take it serious, but not really. Like, they're just like, yeah, man, I hoop for a living. I'll do what I want to do. If I don't want to be here, I'm leaving. Like, you're fucking nuts. Their mentality is so fucking screwed up in their brain. Kyrie's camp is leaking out fucking, oh, he's meeting with so-and-so and meeting with so-and-so on Friday. He didn't even get signed on that day. He got signed before he's supposed to do his fucking meetings. Like, that's the shit we're dealing with. Do y'all not see that? He's meeting with Miami. He's meeting with Indiana. He's meeting with, just so he can get some leverage on the Mavericks when he has no choice but to sign with the Mavericks. Once again, that was a case that the player had no leverage. And why the fuck did they, I'll get in the Kyrie signing in 2, I'll do it in about 2 or 3 minutes, and why it's a bad deal for both of them. It's a good deal, but a bad deal at the same time. I'll get into that. But yeah, y'all are dumb. The Portland Trailblazers have no leverage. They have some, because they have them, right? It would be different if they were like, we are ready to trade Dame Lillard. He does not want to be traded. We are going to trade him. And he may give them destinations, but if he didn't have any destinations, once again, it's a whole different story. He would have been traded right now. He would be gone. I think right now, you know what they're doing? They're talking with Pat Riley. And they are calling all 28 other teams. Please, just take Tyler Hero from us. We have 12 guards that are young on our roster. That's what they're doing. And I had a theory, right, that I think Brooklyn doesn't even want to be involved in this trade unless they get Dame Lillard. Because why would they want Tyler Hero? What do they need to replace out there that Tyler Hero would bring? They're going to swap him and Spencer Dinwiddie? They're going to swap him and DFS on the court? They want to replace Joe Harris with Tyler Hero? Joe Harris didn't even play. And when he did, it wasn't great. Right? Wasn't great. So I think, this is my theory, I believe that the Brooklyn Nets are involved in these trade talks as a third team. That is reported because they want to know every detail, every nuance of this trade that's going on, and maybe try to slide in if things go bad one day, or that Pat Riley has a bad convo with the GM. They could slide in, give that deal, and they'll be like, fuck Dame, fuck Miami, bam. Get the deal done. Get Dame to Portland. I think they want to know every little detail. So what are these other teams looking to give you for them? Oh, okay. So maybe we can talk to them. And I think they're just trying to negotiate. Maybe Brooklyn's on the other line, talking about how they want Tyler Hero, right? The report, hey, we want Tyler Hero. We'll take that. Why the fuck would they do that? Why, for a player they're interested in, take the player? Let me explain this better. Why would the Nets take Tyler Hero from the Heat when the Heat would get Dame Lillard? When the Nets want Dame Lillard? That would be so fucking stupid. That would be dumb. Chris told me he thinks it's Portland putting it out there, which could totally be the case. That's all I'm saying. Could be the case. I just don't see them going like, yeah, let's give the East contender that just went to the finals, Eastern Conference champs, top 7 player in the world. Let's just do that real quick. Yeah, I don't think that's happening, man. I don't. So I think it's going to be some random-ass team that we're not even thinking of. Like, Utah has been reported, and they need somebody like Tyler Hero, a good shot maker from the guard position. Him and Jordan Clarkson are about to fucking play box, because Jordan, he's all team, no hands, all talk, right? He swear he wants to scrap, but he doesn't. So yeah, let's just talk about this Kyrie thing real quick. Like maybe 5 minutes tops. Like max, I'm rambling. It's a good deal for Kyrie because he got paid a shit ton of money. I'm going to give you both sides of this. It's a good deal for the Mavs. It's a shorter term deal, even though that does not matter with Kyrie, and you retain a star. One of the greatest players I've seen with my 2 eyes is Kyrie Irving, right? He is amazing at playing basketball when he's out there. He's 27, 6-6, 48% shooting. Like, I mean, goddamn, 40% from 3. He can do everything. He brings an element where you saw the Mavs last year. Luka's out here putting up 60, 20, and 10 to beat the fucking Pistons on a Wednesday. Like, and you would see him go out of the game. And Dinwiddie is a good player. He's a good basketball player. But he's not a consistently good basketball player that you should rely on as your bench scoring guard. That's why Jalen Brunson was so essential. To do that could run that offense and be a 2 guard, yet be a point guard at the same time. This versatile combo small guard that could post up, get buckets from everywhere. Dinwiddie would have his nights, but if Dinwiddie wasn't having a night, and by a night, I mean 20 and 8, like he had to play his best for the Mavs to look good, like a decent team. Because you go, Luka makes them, they can beat anybody with Luka to an extent, right? Like they're a hard out with a bad roster with Luka. That's what I'm saying. With a half decent roster, look what he did. He went to the conference final with fucking Jalen Brunson. I think he's an amazing player. I'm just saying he went to the finals with Jalen Brunson, and that's all he had. Like, Reggie Bullock, DFS is a good player. Maxi Kleba, Dwight Powell. Like, what are we really talking about? THJ. What are we really talking about? You know what I mean? That's how great Luka is. So you bring Kyrie Irving in there, and that brings that element to it. It's a horrible deal for the Mavericks. Just you sign Kyrie Irving. You signed Kyrie Irving to a 3-year max. Basically a 3-year max. Like, he got paid right under what Fred VanVleet got paid. I said it was smart that the Mavericks got the deal done before Fred VanVleet, but he didn't. I thought it was going to be smart that they were going to do it, but they paid him so much money. Why? Where else is he going? Anywhere, Hunter, anywhere. No, no. Go look at cap room. Trades. He's not getting traded for. I'm not saying nobody wants him. I'm not saying a team wouldn't love to have Kyrie Irving match with their person. But one, Kyrie Irving's opted in. This is an official report from Brooklyn during the summer, I think 2 years ago. It was last year, wasn't it, during the summer? Kyrie Irving has opted in, is fully in on winning a championship with the Nets. What happened a couple months later? Like, this dude, you can't predict this guy. But once again, if you're a Mavs fan, you go, I don't give a fuck if we can predict this guy. If he wants to get traded, he'll get traded and we can get something for him. Correct. But what are you getting for him? Because every time you trade a star, you will never win the trade. You won't. Take your two little role players. Do you want Spencer Dinwiddie and DFS back? So let's say we do the trade again and now you trade them to the Nets and they give you that back. Did you win that trade? Not even close. Not a fucking chance in the world that you think you're even close to winning that trade. It's better for him. Fuck Kyrie. He wanted to leave. Let him leave. Okay. Well, now y'all suck again. Congrats. You already sucked with Kyrie. And he played great. Once again, he played great. I'm not talking about Kyrie as a fucking basketball player. When he was out there, his on-off splits, insane. 27, 6, 6, 50% shooting close to 47, 48, whatever it was. 40% from the three-point line. 38, 39, whatever it was. I mean, man, he was hooping. I just think they need a better roster construction. But that's my take on the Kyrie thing. Hopefully that went quick. So I think it's a bad deal for the Mavs just because they got Kyrie Irving on their roster. And that's about it. On to fantasy football, though. It's the season!